Hello students, hope you all are fine. Today we are going to start new chapter 6, physical and chemical changes. You must have observed many changes in our surrounding. For example, melting of ice, boiling of water, ripening of fruits, burning of fuel or burning of wood, changes in weather and germination. So many changes. We observe these changes, and some changes they can be reversed and some changes they cannot be reversed. So on the basis of this, we can categorize all types of changes into two categories: reversible and irreversible. Now in this chapter, we'll study about different types of changes. Now first we will discuss about reversible changes. The change which can be reversed by reversing the conditions is known as reversible change. For example, stretching of rubber band or melting of ice. We know that these changes can be reversed by changing the conditions. So these are reversible changes and these are temporary because they can be reversed. Next is irreversible change. The change which cannot be reversed even by changing the conditions or by reversing the conditions is called irreversible change. For example, aging of living organisms or rusting of iron or cooking of food. Once we have cooked food, we cannot get the materials back. So these changes, they are permanent and they cannot be reversed even by changing the conditions. So that's why they are called irreversible changes. In this chapter, we will study about nature of changes. So on the basis of nature of changes, we can divide changes in two types: physical changes and chemical changes. Now first we will discuss about physical changes. A change in which only the physical properties of any substance get changed and no new substance is formed is called a physical change. Okay. For example, melting of ice or cutting of paper. In these types of changes, only physical properties of substances get changed and no new substances formed. Physical properties means it can be changed in size, it can be changed in shape, or it can be changed in state also. Like in melting of ice, we are changing the state of the same substance. Means water. Water can be changed into ice or ice can be changed into water by reversing the conditions. So these types of changes are called physical changes. Now here are some more examples of physical changes, like stretching of rubber band, grinding of a substance, expansion and contraction of substances on heating or cooling, melting of wax, formation of clouds, magnetization of a piece of iron, or hammering of metals, or stretching metals to form wires. Now here we will discuss about characteristics of physical changes. Okay. So during a physical change, only some of the physical properties such as size, shape, color and state change. Okay. And next point is, during a physical change, no new substance is formed, and generally a physical change is reversible. Fourth point, generally no overall energy change takes place. And fifth point is, chemical composition of a substance remains the same during a physical change. Now next type of changes that we will study in this chapter are chemical changes. Okay, so what is a chemical change? A change in which one or more new substances with entirely different chemical composition and properties from the original substances are formed is called a chemical change. Okay, for example, rusting of iron or burning of candle or explosion of firecrackers. In all these changes, a new substance is formed which is having different chemical composition and different properties. So we can say in chemical changes, new substances are formed having different properties and chemical composition. Chemical changes are also called chemical reactions. So in a chemical reaction, we can say entirely a new substance is formed with having different properties from the original substance. Okay, and in a chemical reaction, the substances which react with each other to form new substances, these are called reactants, and the substances which are formed, or the new substances which are formed after chemical change, are called products. For example, burning of magnesium ribbon. When we burn magnesium ribbon, then magnesium get combined with oxygen and it changes to magnesium oxide, which is a white powder. So this is also a new substance which is having different properties. So we can say this is a chemical change. Now next we will discuss about characteristics of a chemical change. Okay, first is change in physical state. For example, if we want to convert hydrogen and oxygen into water, so hydrogen is a gas and oxygen is also gas. When these two gases combine together, they form water. So in this, the gases, both the gases are reacting together to form a liquid, that is water. So in this change, the physical state has changed from gases to liquid. Okay. So another characteristic of a chemical change is evolution of a gas. Suppose if we take example of calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid, when calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid combine together, then calcium chloride, water and carbon dioxide is formed. So in a chemical reaction, a gas can also be formed along with other new products. Next characteristics we will discuss about change in color and smell. For example, when copper carbonate, which is green in color, is heated strongly, a black residue of copper oxide is left. So in this case, the color of the substance is getting changed. So in some chemical reactions, color of substance also get changed. And next characteristic is formation of a precipitate. In some chemical reaction, precipitates are formed during chemical reaction. Now what is precipitate? Precipitate is an insoluble solid substance formed when two chemicals which are in solution form react. Okay. For example, when aqueous solution of iron chloride is mixed with ammonium hydroxide, a brown precipitate of iron hydroxide is formed. So in this reaction, precipitates are formed. So this is also a characteristic of a chemical change. Okay. Now next is change in energy. Change in energy takes place in all chemical reactions. Okay, so energy is either absorbed or it is released, and on the basis of this, chemical reactions can also be divided into two types: exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions are those reactions in which energy is released. For example, when water is added to quicklime, quicklime is also called calcium oxide. When we add water in it, heat is evolved and solution become very hot. So this is exothermic reaction. And next is endothermic reaction. In these types of reactions, energy is absorbed. For example, when nitrogen and oxygen are heated at high temperature, they form nitric oxide. So in this, lot of heat is absorbed. So this type of reaction is endothermic reaction. Now next we will discuss different types of chemical reactions. So first we will start with combination reaction. The chemical reaction in which two or more substances combine to form a single product is known as combination reaction. Okay, so in this substances combine to form a new substance. For example, carbon combines with oxygen of the air to form carbon dioxide. So in this, the two substances are combining to form a single substance. Next type of chemical reaction we will discuss here is decomposition reaction. Okay, and in this reaction, one substance decomposes means breaks down into two or more simpler substances. Okay, for example, like baking soda on heating decomposes into sodium carbonate, water vapor and carbon dioxide. So in this, one substance is breaking down into two or more simpler substances. So this type of reaction is called decomposition reaction. Next type of reaction here we will discuss is displacement reaction. The chemical reaction in which a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from its compound is called displacement reaction. Okay, for example, when a copper wire is placed in the silver nitrate solution, the color of the solution changes to blue. Why the color of the solution changes to blue? Because of the formation of copper nitrate, and silver gets deposited on copper wire. So here in this reaction, a more reactive element has displaced a less reactive element. So we can say this is displacement reaction. Next is double displacement reaction. The chemical reaction in which solutions of two compounds react by exchanging their radicals is known as double displacement reaction. For example, when aqueous solution of barium chloride react with aqueous solution of sodium sulfate, then they form barium sulfate and sodium chloride. Okay, and barium sulfate is precipitate. So in this, insoluble product is formed. So that's why it is also called precipitation reaction, because precipitate is formed in this reaction. Okay. Here are some more examples of chemical changes. First one is explosion of firecrackers. We know that explosion of firecracker is also a chemical change because it produces heat, light, sound and gases. Then next we have change in color of cut fruits and vegetables. We know that when we keep cut fruits and vegetables in air, then the slices of these fruits like apple changes and it acquire a brown color due to the formation of a new substance by the action of oxygen on acid of apple. So this is also a chemical change, right? And next is digestion of food. Digestion of food is also a chemical change because it involves actions of acids and enzymes on food and totally new substances formed which is having different properties. And germination of a seed. Germination of a seed is also a chemical change. Why? Because in this also a new substance is formed having different properties. And there are so many changes like burning of fuels, like burning of kerosene and burning of candle, and there are many examples of chemical changes. So in all the chemical changes, new substances are formed with different properties. Next we will discuss characteristics of chemical changes. So we can say during a chemical change, one or more new substances are formed. Then second is chemical changes are generally permanent, they cannot be reversed. And next is during a chemical change, net change in energy takes place, means a large amount of energy is either given out or it is absorbed. And the last point is during a chemical change, both the physical and chemical properties of substance are changed. So these were the characteristics of chemical changes. Now in this table, we will differentiate between physical change and chemical change on the basis of some parameters. Okay. First one is new substance. So in physical change, no new substance is formed, whereas in chemical change, one or more new substances are formed. Second is nature of change. Physical change is temporary change, and in chemical change, it is generally permanent change. Reversibility. Physical change is reversible and they can be reversed by simple physical methods, and chemical change, they are generally irreversible. Then physical and chemical properties. In physical change, only the physical properties of the substance are changed. But in chemical change, both the physical and chemical properties of the substance are changed. And last point is amount of energy, means in the form of heat or light. In physical changes, there is no overall change in energy, but in chemical change, energy change takes place and large amount of energy is either absorbed or given out. Now next we will discuss about rusting of iron. You all must have seen iron objects like iron nails, iron pipes, iron grills, iron railings. These objects, when they are kept in moist air for few days, they get covered with brown powdery substance called rust, and this process is called rusting of iron. So we can say there are mainly two conditions necessary for rusting of iron. First is presence of oxygen or of air, and second is presence of water or water vapor or moisture. So rusting of iron is a chemical change. Why it is a chemical change? Because in this new substance is formed having entirely different properties. We can understand this with the help of this equation. This is the equation of rusting. When iron reacts with oxygen in water of air, then it forms hydrated iron oxide. Okay, so this is the equation of rusting. So rusting occurs in the presence of oxygen and water, and a new substance, that is hydrated iron oxide, is formed. Next is rusting damages iron objects. We know that iron is the cheapest and most easily available metal. So this metal is used to make many objects like gates, railings, bridges, grills, cars, buses, so many things. And this rusting causes a great deal of loss and damage. How? Because this rust is soft and porous, and the layer of the rust falls off from the surface of the rusted iron object, exposing fresh iron metal, and which starts rusting. So rusting makes the iron objects weak and ultimately useless. Now next we will discuss about prevention of rusting. As we have already discussed that rusting damages iron objects, so it causes great loss and damage. So to prevent this, we follow some methods so that we can prevent rusting of iron. First is coating the iron surface with paint or grease. You all must have seen that we paint or we use grease to prevent rusting of iron objects, and these machine parts or tools are coated with thin layer of grease or paint, and this will prevent them from coming in contact with air and moisture, and hence rusting can be prevented. Okay, and second method is galvanization. Now what is galvanization? In this iron is coated with other metals like zinc. So the process of depositing a thin layer of zinc metal on iron object is called galvanization. Okay, so zinc metal remains unaffected by air and moisture, so that's why we apply coating of zinc metal on iron objects. So iron sheets or iron objects, these are dipped in molten zinc and then allowed to cool to get galvanized iron sheets. So many objects can be galvanized to prevent rusting of iron. Then third point is by converting iron into stainless steel or alloying. So we use stainless steel to make many objects, and like cooking utensils, knives, scissors, and all these surgical instruments are made up of stainless steel. So what we do in this? We mix molten iron with different substances like carbon, manganese, chromium, and nickel. So on mixing all these things, we can get stainless steel, which is an alloy. So this will also prevent rusting. So these all methods we can use to prevent rusting of iron. Now last topic of this chapter is crystallization. What is crystallization? It is a process of obtaining pure solid crystals having definite shape. Now what are crystals? Crystals are the purest solid form of a substance with a definite geometrical shape. So we can say by using this method we can get pure crystals of any substance. Okay, and we know that we get salts from seawater, and these salts can be obtained by the help of evaporation. But this technique of separation is not good because we do not get pure substances and the crystals are also very small. So with the help of crystallization process, we can get pure crystals of any substance. For example, we get crystals of alum and sugar and salt and copper sulfate, etc. So we can get crystals of these substances which are pure. Here in this picture you can see we can get crystals of copper sulfate with the help of this crystallization process. In this process, copper sulfate powder is added in water, and with the help of dilute sulfuric acid, few drops of dilute sulfuric acid, we heat this solution, and after heating this solution is filtered to remove insoluble impurities, and then the liquid is left undisturbed for at least 24 hours, and then we can get, after 24 hours we can get pure crystals of copper sulfate. So this method can be used to obtain crystals of any substance, pure crystals of any substance. So this was the last topic of this chapter. I hope you have understood. Thank you.